In this step-by-step tutorial, we're going to build an incredibly useful AI agent called the customer feedback agent that's going to utilize N8N's form trigger to be able to gather customer feedback about a product or a service and categorize this based on whatever the feedback is. So whether it's a compliment, complaint, or a feature request, our AI agent using the Grok chat model is going to be categorize that. And on top of that, it's going to add it to the Airtable based on whatever the category that feedback is. So we'll have a compliment, complaint, and a feature request Airtable that we'll build. And on top of that, we'll also add a Slack node if it's a compliment or a feature request. This is going to send that customer feedback to the proper channels that we're going to have. So we're going to build two customer channels, one feedback, one for feature requests, and this AI agent is going to be sending that proper feedback to the proper channel. But if it's a complaint, we'll also add a Gmail note that's going to send the customer an automatic message saying, hey, we're sorry for the experience. We're working on resolving this issue. This is going to be an incredibly useful AI agent that you can utilize to build something similar for your business or for your service, for your website, whatever it may be, because you'll be able to add this form trigger to a website and embed it and utilize this AI agent to take care of all the customer feedback that you're getting for your service or product that you're selling. All right, so let's jump in and get started. So I'm on my blank workbook here. Let's go ahead and name our workflow here. Let's say customer feedback agent. Okay. Our first step this time is going to be a form trigger because we need to be able to gather the feedback from customer. So let's go ahead and add the first step, and you can just search for form, and it's the first one, the form trigger. This is from N8N, so you can just grab this one. All right, so a few things here, the parameters. There's a test URL and a production URL. The test URL, we're going to utilize that because the production URL is when you want to have your workflow active. But for now, we can start using the test URL. So this is the HTTP URL that you can copy and paste on your web browser that you'll be able to see this form in there. But that's one thing I want to change quickly. First of all, authentication. So again, we don't have to put authentication, but if you are using this for a real life production URL, then you can utilize the authentication as well. But for this one, we're going to keep as none. The form path. So this is what this path is at the end. Let's go ahead and shorten that because by default, it's just a bunch of gibberish. So I'm just going to say feedback. And as you can see, it on top, the URL now changed. Okay. For the form title, we're just going to say customer feedback. Again, you can put whatever you want here. The description, we're just going to say, please provide your feedback here. Okay. All right. So this is going to be the label that's going to go on the form. And again, I'm going to show that in a little bit what this looks like in real life. But let me just put at least one in here so that way you can see. So the first label, we're going to put name. And the field type, it's going to be text because you have all sorts of options here. And the placeholder, I'm just going to say, please type your full name here. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and test this step right now. So I'm going to copy this, okay? And we're going to say test step. So now it says listening for a test form submission. And if we go ahead to our new tab and add this, and as you can see right now, it's showing the customer feedback. So this was the title that we provided. Please provide your feedback and the name. So right now it only has one category. And if we just put something here to test it, let's say John Doe. And if I click on submit form, now it says form submitted. We go back here. As you can see, I get a output that says John Doe. Okay, so that's basically kind of the gist of it. So now knowing that, let's go ahead and add a few more form fields. So the next field I'm going to add is called the email. So the label, it's going to be email. The form type, it's going to be email. Oh, actually, before I forgot. On top right here, as you can see, it says required fields. So whatever field you want your customers to provide as a requirement, then make sure you're toggling this required field. All right, so email, and the email type is email. I'm just going to say, please type your email here. Okay. And I'm going to leave this as optional actually. So let's go ahead and add another form field. I'm going to say feedback. The field type is going to be text. Yep, that's fine. Placeholder. I'm going to say, please provide your feedback here with as much details as possible. Okay. Actually, you know what? That's too long. Let's just leave it as please provide your feedback here. And we're going to make this a require field as well. So for the respond when, so this is depending on what you're using. So you can always utilize a, respond to a webhook. But for this one, I'm just going to say respond when the form is submitted. But you have other options in here as well. As far as the options, we don't have to worry about anything at this point because we're just going to utilize this form on the website. Okay, great. So we're pretty much done here. So now if we test this, I'm going to click on test workflow. So it says waiting for you to submit the form. If you go back to the thing and refresh this page, as you can see right now, it's showing our full feedback form here. And this time, obviously you can see that this field is required. It will show at the bottom. And if we click on the email, that won't show up because obviously we made that not requirement. So let's go ahead and fill this. I'm going to say John Doe, john@gmail.com. Hi, I really love your product. Okay. So I'm going to click on submit form. And as you can see here, our workflow got executed and we should be able to grab that feedback with the name, email, and the feedback itself. And you can see this in a JSON format as well. Okay, that's great. All right, so now let's go ahead and add our AI agent. So I'm going to click on this, advanced AI agent. Okay, so this AI agent is going to be actually not a tools agent because we're not utilizing a chat model where this is going to just grab the from previous note if it's a chat. Because this is a form trigger, we want to be able to manipulate the data that we're receiving. So this time we're going to choose a conversational agent. And once you do that, in the bottom now it says the prompt take from previous note automatically. No, because we want to define exactly what to take and process here. So I'm going to click on the prompt here and click on define below. And this is where you will define the prompt because you want to instruct this AI agent to be able to categorize and absorb the data that's coming in from the form trigger and do something with it, right? So let's go ahead and provide a prompt. Again, this is going to be a sample prompt, but you can utilize ChatGPT or Perplexity to, depending on what your need is, to be able to, provide a really good prompt because that's going to make a huge difference here. But for this particular case, I'm just going to say your role is to determine if a customer feedback is a feature request, a compliment, or a complaint. Okay, so very, very simple. Now we're gonna have to provide this feedback, right? So I'm gonna say here is the customer feedback, colon, and this time I'm gonna grab the feedback from our form submission because we wanna grab the actual detailed feedback that we're getting from the form submission. So from here, I'm gonna grab this and bring it over here. And as you can see now, let's switch to expression and maximize this so that we can see exactly what it looks like. All right, there you go, perfect. And on the right-hand side, you can actually see the results. So it says, hi, I really love your product, which is the correct field that we want to put here. So now let's go back and test this step. I want to see what this looks like. Oh, a chat model, subnote. Yeah, of course, I forgot to add the chat model. So let's go ahead and add a chat model. Oh, let's get rid of this. Chat model. So you can utilize OpenAI, or if you're using this on your local machine and you want to have control over your data, please make sure you watch my previous videos to install everything locally the proper way. You can use the Ollama chat model, but this time just for adding something different, I'm going to use the Grok chat model. So I already have an account, but if you don't, let me quickly show you how to create your credentials. So you're going to click on create credentials. You can go to Open Docs, and this is going to give you some instructions. If you click on Grok chat model, it gives you more instructions. But if we go back, you can create a Grok account. If I click there, it's going to take me to their main page. And so just if you don't know Grok is basically an inference model. The main differentiator between Grok and other large language models is that this is extremely fast and it's also very energy efficient because of the hardware that they used. These guys are locally based here for me. I live very close to their headquarters. So they're a very cool technology company, and again, they're improving rapidly. You can actually try, for example, look at what the difference is. If I just kind of type something, oh, I have to log in, I forgot. Let me log in quickly. All right, perfect. Let's try it again, because that was, what is Grok? Let me just quickly, look how fast it provides the response here. Anyways, so, and it also has a free version for the APIs. So you can go ahead and click on start building and follow the API key here. So if you click on the API key, you'll be able to create a new API key from here. Obviously you have to have an account, but you can click on the API key and you can come back to your N8N account and just basically add that. Okay, but since I've already done that, I'm going to go ahead and utilize my account. So once you do that, then you'll be able to actually have access to all these models through the Grok chat model. And as you can see, they have all sorts of the open source large language models like the Llamas of the world, the Gemma, Whisper, Lava, all great large language models. But I'm going to go ahead and select the Llama 370B because this is a pretty decent model. And again, we want to make sure we're using a good model because we need this agent to be able to categorize the customer feedback that's coming in. So make sure you're using a good model here. Okay. All right. So let's just go back to the agent here, and we don't have to worry about memory because it's not like we're chatting with this thing. So don't worry about adding memory. I'm just going to add a calculator in case, let's say for your use case, if a customer is providing a feedback and it involves numbers or calculations, then you just want to grab this tool for this to be able to get those operations done. Okay, so now let's test this again. I'm going to test this stuff. And as you can see right now, it worked, right? All right, perfect. So again, you can manipulate your prompt here to make sure that you're receiving the proper answer. So let's say this is responding. The output might be something that's like a sentence, right? And if you want to be able to only have this chat model, or if this AI agent provide just a one-word answer to be able to categorize this customer feedback as feature request, a compliment, or a complaint, you can always mention that here, right? So you can say, please respond, or actually, please make sure your output is only one of the 3 categories above. I'm gonna say, and you can just copy and paste this. Actually, you can get rid of this above thing too. Okay, or there you go. All right, so now you're sure that it's going to respond this way. Another option is to also, if you have a more complicated customer feedback or any kind of form submission that you're using, you can use the require specific output format. And if you toggle this on, as you can see on the bottom here, now you will get another section added here, which is called the output parser. If you click on this, you can actually add an exact output parser in here, and you can provide the schema so that you can provide the exact JSON schema. And on the bottom, as you can see, this gives you an example. So you could always utilize this, copy and paste this, and ask ChatGPT or Perplexity to, hey, can you provide a JSON schema for this particular use case I'm looking for based on the following example. But for our case, like I said, our form submission is not that complicated, so I'm just gonna leave it with this prompt there. So let's test it again to make sure that we got the proper response here, and that's perfect. All right, so now we're receiving only one output. It's either a compliment, a feature request, or a complaint. All right, so that's done. The next step is going to be adding a merge node, because we want to be able to grab the name and the email from here and the category that's coming out from our AI agent from here and combine them together and ship it off to our next step. So I'm going to click on add another node here, and I'm going to search for merge. So this is a really great tool that n8n already has. It's called merge. So it has several modes. You can append items. So if there's outputs that are coming in from different input, you can basically append them together one after another. You can combine. So we're going to use this combine because we're merging items that are coming in from different spots, right? So we're going to have one item that's going to be coming in from here and another one from our AI agent. So therefore, right, we need to, let me get rid of this and put this up here. All right, so this is the first one is going to come from here. The second one is going to come from here. So let's go ahead and now add that. Okay, so mode is going to be combined by matching fields. No, not really, because there's no matching fields there. For us, we're going to utilize the position because we're going to say combine items based on their order, right? So we're going to use 2 here, and that's pretty much it. We don't have to worry about any options here. As you can see, the first one is coming in from our form trigger, and the second one is going to be coming in from our output. So this basically is going to send all of this data to this merge field and the data from here too. Okay, so let's go ahead and test this out now. Oops. Test step, and there you go. Perfect. So now it combined the name, the email, the feedback, and the output that's coming in from our AI agent, right, as complement. And you can see the JSON here as well. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, so now that we have this data coming in from our feedback form and then also from the AI agent, the category, we need to be able to do something with this data, right? So depending on what this feedback is that's coming in from our AI agent along with the name and the email, we need to be able to grab that and based on the category, divide it, right? So let's go ahead in order to do this. And it then also has another great tool that I really like called switch. Or you can use if. So if you have an if node, the only problem with if node is that it's kind of like limited. So I'm just, when you have multiple things, multiple options, you're going to use the switch. So if you just search for switch, this is the one. So this has this, all right, there you go. So now we'll be able to add several categories here and be able to do something with it, right? So it's almost like an extended and a more useful version of the if node. Okay, so the mode is going to be rules. So let's leave that as it is, the routing rules. So now we're going to grab, because this is where we're categorizing the data that's coming in from our AI agent, right? So I'm going to grab, again, we'll just grab it from our merge node. So I'm going to grab this output. All right, that looks good. And we're going to say this is equal to, complement. So we're going to create one for complement. And we're going to also change the, we're just going to change this to rename output complement, and I'm going to show that in a little bit what this means. Okay, and as you can, and if we get out of this, now you can see this is what that renaming does, right? It just adds a node that's coming out. Okay, so now let's add another one because we have 3 categories, right? Okay, so the second is going to be same thing. The value is going to be the same. It's going to be the output. Oops, that didn't work. This time, if this equals complaint, right? Because that was our second category, we're going to rename it to complaint. Okay. Third one is going to be our, what do we name our third one? I forgot. It was called a feature request. There you go. Okay. And that's good. Feature request. Rename to feature request. Okay, perfect. So that's good to go. Let's just get out and make sure that the names are good. Yep, complement, complaint, feature request. So now let's go ahead and do something with these. So now that these different categories are coming out, what do we do with this, right? So now let's see, for each different category, let's make sure we add this into a different column in a table that we're going to create in Airtable. Okay, so for this one, you can just click on plus and you can search for Airtable. And it gives you several options here. We need to create a record, right? Because we need to add this in a column that we will name this category, whatever the category is, but we need to add a record or a row in that column. So you're going to click on create record. I already have a Airtable account, but I'm going to show you how to create your credentials and build your table the proper way. So you're going to create on new credentials. So let's go to airtable.com. We don't need this Grok Cloud anymore. Airtable.com. Okay, perfect. So I already have a workspace in there, but if you don't, yours is going to look blank. So this is what yours is going to look like. Yep, right here, you're going to create a workspace. So I'm going to click on create a workspace, and you can name this customer feedback table. Okay, perfect. The free plan is good to go. I mean, you don't need anything more than that. Free plan is perfectly good. All right, so here the workspace is empty right now. So this is where you're going to click on create, and you're going to start from scratch. You can select the name of the base here and the coloring here. So I'm gonna, that is top. See, these lighter colors, I guess they only allow you to do that on the paid version, but whatever, it doesn't matter. So the base, I'm gonna say customer feedback. Okay. All right, so this is where you will have your tables. So this is the first table. So we need to create 3 tables, right? One for each category that our AI agent is going to spit out based on the form trigger that the customer sends our feedback. So the first one, in order to rename the table, just double click on it and you can change it to complement. Oops, that didn't work. Complement. Press enter. Let's add another one called complaint. And one more feature request. All right, perfect. So the table here are the columns that it comes with automatically, but we're gonna get rid of this. So let's delete field, and go ahead and rename this. You can't delete this one because that's a default one. So the second column we need is going to be, let's go ahead and add the email. Click on the drop down here, we can select email and save, right? Another one we need to add is the feedback, let's say. Oops, let me double click on this. This is going to be a long text because this is going to be the actual feedback that we're going to grab for our customer, right? So go ahead and do the same thing for your other tables. All right, perfect. Okay, so we got all of our tables set to go, and we have forgot about this, get rid of this. All right, so we got all 3 tables blank completely at this point, and the base is under the customer feedback, right? Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and add our account here, right? So you're gonna come, once you create your tables, on the top hand right corner here, you're gonna click on your account. You're gonna come on the Builder Hub. I've already created one, but go ahead and create a new token. So you're gonna come and click on create new token. I'm gonna say NNN test. Okay, we need to add scopes here, and the way to do that is you want to make sure that you're grabbing the proper scope. In the bottom right here, it says make sure you enable the following scopes for your token, right? So we need to enable data.record read, data.records write, and schema.bases read. Okay, so you're going to go back and add scope data.records read, write, and schema bases read, right? That was the one. Okay, I'm going to create the token, copy this, done, and you'll paste that in here. But since I've already done that, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to just use my existing one that I created earlier before, because it has some data in there. So I'm going to get out of there and use my Airtable account. The resource you're going to leave at source. Operation, it's going to be create. The base you're going to use from list, and as soon as you click on the choose here, it's going to load that base that we created. So just select that. Mine was the one that I'm going to use, the init and feedback. Let me actually quickly show you. So if I go back to my home, so So I have two bases. This was the one that I created, and this is the one that I created earlier. So this is the one named edit and feedback. And if I click on this, as you can see, this has some data, but the columns are exactly the same way. Feature request, complaint, compliment. So I'm going to utilize this because, again, this has some data in there already. Okay, so you're going to select your base, and from the table, you're going to choose. Now it's going to load the table and all of the columns that you have within that table. In our case, complement, complaint, and feature requests, right? So let's start with the complement one. I'm going to click on complement, and it's going to load all of the columns within that table itself. Yeah, sorry, these are the tables that you have within your base. And once you select your table, in our case, the table is going to be complement. These are the columns that's going to be inside your table. So for example, if I go back here, as you can see, I have name, email, and feedback as column within my complement table inside of that edit and feedback base. So now we're going to actually create 2 more Airtable records for our other categories. So I'm going to put this back up here. I'm just going to quickly duplicate this. Duplicate, boom. Okay, it's good. And then one more. Boom, and connect this. All right, so we got all 3 here. Let me move this a little bit this way because it's not a lot of space. Go. Okay, perfect. All right, so we got all of this now. Let's go ahead and actually name this one so that we're not getting confused. So complement. Let's name this complement. This one we're gonna name complaint. And this one is gonna be feature request. All right, perfect. That looks good. Okay, so we get complement, complaint, and feature request, and they're connected to the proper routes here. All right, great. So now let's go ahead and start with this complaint. What was the test initially? What's the data that's coming in from here? We're sending a complement, right? So that's the category. So let's go ahead and add that complement, the list. That's good to go. Let's go ahead and execute previous node, and it's going to bring in the data here. Let's double check. Yep, it took it to the right place. Let's go ahead and okay, so now for values to send to this table, for the name, we're just going to grab the name from here. And the results showing John Doe. That's good to go. For the email, we're going to grab the email. For the feedback, we're going to grab the feedback. Perfect. Options, we don't need that. So let's go ahead and test this step actually. If I click on test steps, so right now, as you can see, if I go to my table here, my complement table, I have these 3 records that are coming from Steph Curry and 2 Anthony Joshua, right? So these are the ones that are existing. We should be able to see another record being added here. So if I go back and let's go ahead and see what's coming out of here. And if we see, it says John Doe, john@gmail.com, and it says, hi, I really love your product. So it's a compliment. So if we go ahead and test this stuff, this should be able to send that and add a new record. And there you go, node successful. Get out of this, that looks good. Let's go back to our table, refresh the page. And John Doe, john@gmail.com. Hi, I really love your product. Perfect. Okay, so it looks like that's working. Let's go ahead and now add a complaint one. But before we do that, we need to have a complaint that's coming in out of this and being sent to this category right here, right? Because right now, if I double click on this, there is no data because right now this is categorizing it as complaint and it's sending it right here. So we need to test a complaint one. So I'm going to delete this. And if you just click on test workflow, right, it says waiting for a trigger event. Go back, refresh this page. Now we can say name as Jane Smith. Email could be jane@yahoo.com. gmail.com, and the feedback could be, I really hate your product. All right, that's good. Somebody's hateful, but it's all good. All right, so let's go ahead and submit this form. And now if we go back, this should automatically, perfect. There you go. Now it categorized it as a complaint, which is accurate. So now let's go ahead and make sure this gets added to the table, because right now it's empty, the name and the email. So we'll be able to add this there. So let's go ahead and grab the name. The name is going to be here, the email right here, and the feedback. Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and test this step now. This should be able to add a new record. Jane Smith, I really hate your product, jane@yahoo.com. Okay, let's go back to our N8N tables here. Oh, it got added to the compliments table. That's not accurate. Must have done something wrong. Go there. Oh, because we chose the compliments table here. So this should be added to the complaints table. Okay, go ahead and do that again. Name, email, and feedback. Okay, let's test it again. This time it should be added to the correct table. We go back to N8N. So go back to complaints table. And Jane Smith, I really hate your product. Perfect. All right, great. So first of all, let me get rid of this. This was the wrong one. Okay, cool. All right, so that's good. Now let's go ahead and check out feature requests. So feature requests right now I only have one record. Let's go ahead and add another one to make sure that that gets set up too. So we need to set up, obviously, this one is not added yet because we don't have any data in here, but let's go ahead and do that. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get rid of this so that way I can just utilize this pop-up. So if I delete this, test workflow, I should get a pop-up. There you go, it's in this screen. Now I can just utilize this pop-up. So now let's go ahead and say Jason Tatum, jason@gmail.com. This is going to be a feature request. This is going to be, hi, I like your product, but it's missing an AI feature to summarize the reviews or whatever. Doesn't matter, but this should be clearly a feature request that might be coming in. So let's go ahead and submit this form, and this time, perfect, there you go. So now our chat model was initiated and it got sent as a feature request. Great, so let's go ahead and set this up. So this time, let's make sure we're choosing the correct table. So from the list, we're going to select feature request. The name is going to be this, same thing, email, oops, and the feedback. That's the response. I named this response, by the way, my column inside this table. So inside my right here feature request, this is called response. Okay, so now let's go ahead and test this and make sure this gets added properly. Perfect. Go back, and Jason Tatum, hi, I like your product, but it's missing an AI feature to summarize the reviews. Perfect. All right, that's great. So now we're pretty much done here. So now you can further improve this by adding additional. So let's go ahead and add Slack messages that will be sent for the complaint whenever there's a record added to the complaint table, and also to the feature request to the proper channel. But whenever there's a complaint, we can add a Gmail note that sends an email directly to that customer. So let's go ahead and actually do that. So for the first one, if you don't have Slack already, so let me pull up my Slack here. So I have these channels. You can always create new channels, but I have a customer feedback request channel and a customer feature request channel and a customer feedback channel, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and add a Slack. Oops. If you search for Slack here, it should pull up this node here. So this time we're gonna send a message, right? So we're gonna click on send a message, select your credentials, very simple. Again, same thing, just go ahead and if you already have Slack downloaded, you'll just connect to your account. When you click on that, it's gonna pull up this permission request. Just go ahead and allow it, and it's gonna add your Slack channel to that to your account. Okay, but since I've already done that, I'm going to go ahead and use my existing. Oops, let's go rid of this. Let me get rid of this. Delete. All right, perfect. So here's my Slack channel. So now it'll have access to all of your channels, to your users that you want to send, and all that good stuff. So resource is going to be a message. Operation is going to be a send message to. So I'm going to choose a channel. You can send it to a user as well from the list. So now this is going to prop all the channels that I have inside my Slack. As you can see, this is the customer feature request and a customer feedback. So this was for compliments. So this, I want to send this to my customer feedback channel, right? And it's going to be simple text message, and the message we're going to grab from the previous node. So if I just say execute previous node, oh sorry, the execute previous node was going here to the feature request. We'll go ahead and add that actually because it's already there. So Slack, it's going to be sending a message. My credentials, message, send message to a channel. Let me execute the previous node. So this time this was the feature request one, right? So I want to select the feature request channel that this should go to. Customer feature request message. I'm going to actually grab this response that's coming in from there, right? Perfect. You can also add this from your other nodes as well, because that's going to be coming into there as well. But anyways, that's good to go for now. And if I click on this and let me test this out, test this step. So now it should send test step. Perfect. So let me pull up my Slack, make sure it got through. This was a feature request, and there you go. Hi, I like your product, but it's missing an AI feature to summarize the reviews. Perfect. So everything worked out. Okay, so let's go ahead and test the other ones out too. Let me temporarily fix this just to get rid of that. Let's go ahead and add a compliment. So this time I'm going to test the workflow. Put the pop-up here. So this time I'm going to say Jackie and Jackie at gmail.com. Hi, I love your product and services. So let's say submit form. And this went there. So let's make sure that this is accurate. So this time, let's get rid of this. Message is going to be compliment and the feedback, right? There you go. We're just going to send the feedback to our Slack channel here, and the channel is going to be customer feedback. Okay, let's test this step. Perfect, that went through. And if we pull up our customer feedback channel, there you go. Hello. Oh, this was from previously, but it says, hi, I love your product and services. Perfect. And it also gives this N8N workflow link here. So if you click on that, it's going to take you there. Okay, great. So now you can add for complaints. Let's say we want to add a Gmail node that's going to send an email. Oh, I added the wrong one. Add a Gmail node that's going to send an email directly to that person, whoever they sent it. So let's click on send message. Select your Gmail account. It's going to be a message. Operation is going to be send. This is going to come from the previous, but let's go ahead and do a complaint. Let's get rid of this. Actually, I'm going to get rid of this for now, the attachments, because it's not getting me an error. I'll click on test workflow. This time, let's do complaint. Let's go Robert. Gmail.com. I hate your products and services. All right, submit form. This should be a complaint. Yep, that's good. Now attach it. Gmail to. So this time we're going to send it to, so the person that sent the complaint from email. Oh, I got the email wrong, of course, but I just put Robert. But we'll just grab that email, and the subject is going to be, you can just put a subject as customer complaint response, let's say. Or whatever it might be. You can even grab it. Let's say if you want to make the subject as the feedback or the title of the feedback or whatever, maybe you can do that, or just create a time or the name or whatever, you know, depends on what you want to do. So for the message, we can do something like, hello, and you can grab the name, whoever sent it, right? So hello, Robert. That doesn't look good. There you go. And you can say, I'm sorry for the inconvenience, blah, 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 whatever, right? You can just type an email and then just basically have this step automated where every time you receive a complaint, now you send an automatic email to that user by grabbing the email from that form that came through. Okay. All right. Well, hopefully this gave you a good understanding of how all these tools work together, so you can utilize this for your website, for your services, whatever it may be able to completely automate your customer response by adding them to different tables, so that way you can have visibility into what's going on. And with this agent, you'll be able to automate basically everything from the response to a complaint to adding it to your Airtable, to your Slack message, and all sorts of good stuff. All right, well, thanks for watching. Please make sure you subscribe and like the video. I've got a lot of great things coming up in the pipeline, so I want to make sure you are aware of that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.